Hello everyone, my name's James Tennant, and today I thought I'd do a video on something that I have to do a fair bit for clients, which is load metadata into Vault along with the files. So this is something that there is a couple of tools available that will do this for you or at least help you do it. But what I'm going to do is show you a bit of a quick and nasty way of getting metadata onto files inside the Vault. To do this, I've set up a bit of a demonstration with just some plain text files. I've given them unique names so that as soon as they go into Vault, they're obviously not going to have any metadata on them, but this metadata might be located in a drawing list that you've maintained over the years or whatever it is. Again, I've set up this automatically. So you can see all these drawing numbers here, they correspond with the same drawing numbers I have in that folder. But this spreadsheet also has description, client, project, security class, and address. These are just examples of metadata that I want to be able to get into the Vault. So the first thing we want to do is we want to load this data. Now, ordinarily, you'd probably use autoloader to get this data into Vault. However, today, because they're just text files, there's no issue with just drag and dropping them into Vault. Once they're in Vault, I'll be able to see them there. Let's just refresh that view to make sure we're up to date. And there's my documents. So as you can imagine, you would have a lot more than the 50 odd files that I've just loaded in there, but it doesn't really matter however many files you've got, the process is the same. So we've got our files, and in Excel we've got our drawing list. So there's our drawings, for example, and here's our metadata. Now what we want to do is we want to have a Vlookup that goes and finds whatever this is and pulls up the next piece of information next to it. And I'll show you why we want to do that at the end, but it's quite a nice little workflow. So let's start off with just putting my heading in, because it's just a nice way to start. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a lookup here for the description line. So whatever I put in here, it's going to look up the description for it. So if this is this file, then it should return of a line 11. So let's go ahead and start my Vlookup. So you can do that by just starting like that. We want to look up this column here, so that cell there, and then we're going to select our table array just by selecting on all the files like that. Then this is the next column across. So because in my array I've selected A, B, C, D, E, and F, column 2 would be the description. Column 1 would be the file name, which we're not looking to extract. We're only looking to extract the metadata, which starts from line 2. Column 2, I should say. And then finally, put a false in there, because I don't know why anyone would put true in there. And go OK. So that should now be a lookup for anything that goes into here. So for example, if I was to grab this number here and go ahead and put it in here, we should see the piece of metadata pop up here. So wherever I find this one, that's that one there, it's pulling up this piece of metadata. We can go ahead and use this same field in client, in here, and change this to 3. Same thing here. I'm going to do this for all of them. 4. 5, and finally 6. Okay, so you can imagine that not all the time you would have these columns lining up exactly the way you want them to, but in this case they are. And again, it's just an example, so let's go ahead and just fill down on this one here as well. So in this case I can fill down like that. Now all these ones are NA because they've got no value in this one. So if you look on this one, it says K9, so it's looking up this value here. It's still got the same array over here. So let's go and do the same thing here. You could probably do these all in the one go, but I'll just do them individually just to make sure. So you just fill down all the way down to the bottom. Now, the idea of what I want to do now, so now that we're getting into the crux of it, so let's get rid of that just to make it neat. So what I want to do is I want to have, when I go into my vault, I'm going to select on a couple of these ones here like that. Once I do that, I go edit properties, so I can choose edit properties here. I want to make sure that these columns line up exactly the same as in my spreadsheet. So description line, project, subcategory, and so on and so forth. So let's go and make sure that those lines line up in my spreadsheet, and you can see they don't. So description client, so this one needs to go over, beg your pardon, we have to do it through the view. So description, then client. And then we've got project and security. Project, security, and I think the last one would be address. We don't use subcategory. So I've made sure that all these line up exactly the same way as what they go in my spreadsheet. So as you can see, name, description, client, project, security class, and address. Once you've got that done, close that. You can see they all line up beautifully. So now in order to populate that piece of metadata, all I do is I just copy this, Control C, go into here, Control V, and you can see all the pieces of information have copied across. Not sure what's going on here, but I'm not too worried about it. You get the idea. And copy that, and copy there. So that's how you get your metadata done. So if I was to go and look up, for example, line 30 in the description, line 30 down here, that would be this file name, which would correspond with the vault. So that one there, which I think it does. Let's just copy that and make sure. Line 30, same file. So that's just a bit of a trick. Actually, I don't know what's going on with these ones. Must be missing or something along those lines. It's just 800. Oh yeah, no, I don't have that one in my list. That's why, and 801. That's okay though. So yeah, that's a bit of a demonstration on how to add your properties. So obviously, once that's done, you just go OK, and that will add metadata to those files. You can see that's done. So I hope that was helpful. Again, there is some tools that will do this a lot more automatically for you, but if you don't want to spend the money on those tools to do it for you, then Excel is not a bad option to at least populate some of that data initially. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.